G6NOX-T transmitting vision on a frequency of 436 megacycles and sound in the 2 meters on 144.8. Just coming on transmission. Fine. Well, here we are, and good afternoon to everybody at the British Amateur TV Club Convention in Cambridge. Very pleased to see that we've got such a good turnout there, and as one of the founding members of the British Amateur Television Club about 21 years ago, it makes me feel a little bearded. It's wonderful to know that the club is thriving so well today. When we started amateur television in 1949, the equipment that I used was very different from what we have now. I used a very, very scruffy old radar tube and a 931A multiplier, and this gave us very, very simple pictures, just almost shadow graph, compared with the quality we got today. However, with this equipment, we did have some very exciting transmissions from my father's station, G2WJ, to its stroke T as it was then. After a number of years, I constructed, with great assistance from Ian Waters, who's at the convention today, an image iconoscope camera using a Photicon tube, an example of which I have here. Now, I bet there are a lot of people at the BATC convention today who have never once seen one of these beasts. What happened was, very briefly, the image came in the front, and it was imaged through onto a target, which was then explored by the electron gun up this lower part here. Now, because that gun was at an angle to this part, one got a picture out of it which was very bent. It, in fact, was keystone like that. And one had to use all sorts of crafty modulation techniques to bring the picture back to a square shape. Another problem with this tube was relatively low sensitivity. And I can tell you, after a few KSOs with this, the sweat was literally pouring off your face. Very, very hot. However, the next stage in the development of amateur television from the station was the introduction of the present equipment, which is commercial and very nice too. I have a high image orthicon camera here, 3-inch image orth camera, and although we can't make the camera bend itself and look at itself, we can in fact show you by means of the mirror the camera that's looking at us now. Equipped with 4 lenses at the moment, a wide angle, medium, fairly telephoto, and also a very long lens which we aren't using this afternoon. Q light on the top, 100 feet of camera cable down the bottom. Whole thing's mounted on a dolly. The increased reliability of the TV equipment compared with the early days has enabled me over the recent years to concentrate more on the RF side of the hobby and to manage to make some very nice contacts with other countries. Some of the DX we've had now includes Holland, Germany, Belgium and France. Only the last one there, France, has been so far a one-way, and I'm hoping before long to make it a two-way. Also, we've had many contacts in this country over 200 miles. I felt for some time that the RF side of the hobby should receive more attention by members of the club, particularly if we're to retain the very nice frequency allocation we have on the 70 centimetre band. And I hope that there will be a greater emphasis on transmission over the next few years. One of the great advantages of the RF side is that one can link together a number of different clubs and groups of amateurs and avoid the sort of isolation that can occur with people working on their own. I hope over the next few years that you can in fact arrange a sort of activity night on the 70 centimetre band, but similarly, in a similar way to the 2 metre activity night, which is very successful. On the question of receivers, it's now very easy to construct or at least modify one of the present range of UHF tuners, and I have an example of one here, which we can show you. This is an all-transistor tuner, and by slightly lengthening the lines, one can get these things to work very efficiently. It can, in fact, be modified almost without touching the circuitry, just by doing the trimmers, but I found in practice that it's better to increase the amount of inductance there by increasing the line length if possible. But one of these, a normal television set IF on, say, channel 1 or channel 2, and you're in business for getting amateur TV pictures. On the activity side from the station, we're on most evenings checking the band from about 9 o'clock onwards, and we'd be very pleased any time to have a call either on the 2-meter band or on 70 or even on the telephone from anybody who wishes to have a contact. So that gives you an idea of that side of the activity. We've got scanning standards, transmissions from the station on 405 line positive modulation on a frequency of 436 megs. And I propose keeping to this standard for some years, as experience has shown that 405 lines can give a better picture under really weak noisy conditions than the 625, assuming one is going to go the whole way with the bandwidth. Sound at the moment is transmitted on 144.8 on 2 meters, but I have had it on 70 centimeters for periods. But we found that due to the relatively broad bandwidth of the television IF, sound IF, that some operators have difficulty at long range. So for the moment we're on 2, but we could convert back if required. Well, that gives you some idea of what goes on at the station, and I would like to just introduce the various operators who are helping me here this afternoon. And first coming into the picture is Colin G8BTK from Henham, which is about 7 miles southeast of here. Colin, what are your main interests in amateur radio?
Receivers and amateur television is now fast catching up on normal reception.
And how about 2 meters?
2 meters, yes, very keen on 2 meters, both transmission and reception.
Jolly good. Well, a further convert to amateur television there. The next one is Graham, G8DLW, who lives in Harlow. He's been operating the sound mixer. What are your main activities on the amateur band?
Well, my main interest at the moment is 70 centimetres, sound only transmitting and receiving at the moment, but plans are underway to receive Jeremy's pictures, right. And looking forward to that.
Well, now the last operator's come into the picture, and to my horror viewers, everybody has now left the control room, and we're literally hands-off operations, I believe it's called. Well, finally, here's G8AJR, who's our vision mixer. Also, your television type?
Actually, on 70 centimetres active and on 2 meters, but hopefully active on television reception for start.
Jolly good. Well, you see, we've sold amateur television to quite a few people here this afternoon, and that just about introduces it. Now, I would explain just quickly before I get up and show you the next, the control room, that we're speaking to you from a studio here, separate from the control room. So we shall have to do a slight adjustment of the camera, moving it back and looking through the door, and they'll be doing that while I walk into the control room. And here we are in the control room after the usual frantic dash, followed by everybody scampering out of our way. They're getting the camera into the right angle, nice broad angle shot of the station. Just this left that way, that's it. Now, there's a general view, and you can see the main setup here, sound, monitors and everything, and I'll get them to pull it into next shot, into close-up. Here we go, into close-up. We apologise for the lens changes on transmission, but we only have one camera here, and it's necessary to do this. Could you just focus on the background there, on the unit, on this unit, please? Just check your focus. Oh, lovely. Jolly good. Well, now the first unit which you see in here is the 4-channel sound mixer. We have pre-listen facilities on this, on each of the microphone channels. And at the moment we're pre-listening on the studio, but I have it faded down because of feedback. Control room mic, studio mic, tape and tone. Above that we have the image orthicon camera control, which is controlling the camera that we're using at the moment. Next to that is a vision monitor, master monitor, which is looking at the picture from the output of the VMU, and there's also from the output of the stabilizing amplifier. A little bit to the left, test signal generator. Above that, waveform monitor, preview and transmission there, And then if we just quickly go below, there are two more monitors at a repeater. That is a repeater of the vision one for relay working when we've got a noisy signal going through. We're just pulling into wide angle for a moment. And finally, that monitor is our RF check on, incidentally, on which we've been taking very nice pictures from Roger G6ADM/T while he was on. Well, that's the main description. I would like to just show you the test signals we have available on the mixer. First one is the test card, which comes from a monoscope generator. The second one is the sawtooth for setting up the linearity of the transmitter. And then on channel 4 on the mixer, we have a further selection of a flagpole, which is very useful for signal to noise checks. And, sorry about that. And also a linearity grating, checking monitors, and finally an LF window test, which enables us to check the low frequency response of the transmitter. So that concludes our transmission. We've attempted to keep to the time schedule, and we now sign off G6NOX/T on 70 centimeters and 436.
So to the team of helpers that you had there with you this afternoon, I know you spent quite a lot of time at rehearsing this, and it's all come through extremely well, and hearty vote of thanks all round.